Okay, so Sharon just asked the question that we decided to record for everyone. How do you balance investing in your business and the revenue being currently generated for your business? And her understanding that there's not a one size fits all answer to that. So
yeah.
perfect.
So I don't know what Gene Key or what is the other one that we're doing. Gene Keys, and then the other one is
Human design.
Yeah, I don't know which one I am, but I'm very sort of practical. So when I was thinking about this call, and I know your time is limited, and I don't want to just kind of ramble on. I thought of in terms of how much do you invest in your entrepreneurial business, and as opposed to how do you plan to get any return on investment? And I thought of 3 P's. One was to be practical, the other was to prioritize, and the third one is to think about prosperity. So in my head, okay, I was thinking it can't all be intuitive. As much as I like to, in terms of being practical, I like to be intuitive. Like I'll get a sign like, oh yeah, I should sign up for this, or I need to be, investing in that. But sometimes it's like, I really don't know, if I'm being, practical.
Sure.
And then the second one is about prioritize, because especially if you're new to this, and I've been doing a lot of this already, so I feel like I can somewhat prioritize. But for someone who's just starting out, I mean, there's things you got to think about, like ads, mail service, Zoom, whether you pay for Zoom, your web domain, a funnel. So it's like, how do when do you start to prioritize what you're investing in? And then the very last thing about prosperity and profit is, like, I'm a very big believer in the law of attraction. So I put, I know there's a payoff, and I'm very conscious of not saying, oh, that didn't work out, it's never going to happen. But, it's like, okay, what have I learned from this or whatever? Yeah. But I still like the reason why I want to take advantage of this is with that kind of mindset that I've come up with. I was wondering what you can give me, add to it, and what your thoughts are.
I love it. And it's funny because, the whole reason this is happening one-on-one is because I just got back from taking Jordan to the airport, and Colleen Talbot sent me a YouTube video, a woman who channels Saint Germain, and they're talking about law of attraction. And first of all, it touched on every single thing. I'll put the link wherever this is, wherever you're watching this, I'll put the link. And it talked about not only aligning your vibration, right? Which we understand that, like, if you're being doom and gloom, it's hard to attract happy. But it also talked about working with magnetism, which is about opposites. And the comment was made that until you've mastered poverty, you can't enjoy prosperity. Excuse me. And that made me think of the amount of money that I have invested in my business over the years, and the credit card debt I carried and all that. And I'm not saying like, put a bunch of money on your credit card and then you'll experience prosperity, but the expectation or the desire that we have to stay in our comfort zone, whether it's financial, emotional, spiritual, mental, physical, whatever, and it is not where spirit works, right? Spirit works in our going outside of our comfort zones. How badly do you want it? So the first thing that comes to mind is you invest in your business to the degree that you want the success, right? And it can, on a practical level, like if you're really feeling like I need Zoom, and Zoom's going to cost, I don't even know how much Zoom costs a month. And if I'm not currently, if it doesn't feel like my offerings currently include something that would offset that price, if I really want Zoom, then I'm going to put on my website, my Teachable, that I offer one-on-one Zoom sessions, right? Like studios on Zoom, join me. Whether it's put it out to a group and it's donation, whether it's one-on-one. I help you over the fear of the blank canvas, or I teach you my collage, one-on-one, and help you make sure you have all the supplies and blah, blah, blah. So you can match what it is you want to invest in with what it is you're putting out there, your ability to get revenue from it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, if you feel like you need to upgrade your email list, maybe either first it's working on ways to grow your list, or you invest understanding that if I'm putting money, which is energy, in the direction of growing my list and being able to communicate, then that becomes a priority. And that's something I'm going to really focus on, put emphasis on, right? In order to bring the income up where I can directly see that I'm paying for that. So the other thing that I talk about money and what I realized way back. So when I was, newly single and committed to making a living doing this work, which I hadn't been doing because I didn't have to contribute to the household income. I personally was like, I am committed to this providing me with the income I need. And so I am going to invest accordingly in those things. And when you invest money or any kind of energy in something that is in alignment with your soul's purpose, right? Like if you really feel like I am here to ... So I'm going to invest money in things that will help me do that more abundantly, reach more people, then eventually, even if it's a couple months, 6 months, a year of not seeing that end meet, if you stay focused on this is where I'm going, you'll get there. That's been my experience. I was at over $20,000 in credit card debt for years.
I remember when you said that you signed up for Lisa
Nichols. Yeah, that was $37,000 I spent into over a year.
That was really cool that you I'm not admitted, but that you shared that, because I think, as you touch upon different women or men too sometimes, and they're at different levels, it's like everyone has a certain risk factor. Like I know that I tend to be very, thrifty and whatever. I don't want to call it cheap.
Right.
But I thought when I heard that, I was like, wow, I don't know if I could have done that. I'd have been like
scary as hell. Scary as hell.
No, but that's part of your, like you said, your purpose. You knew that was going to align you with where you were going to be somehow. And I think that's the part that I'm focusing on, is that I have no doubt that I have certain, desires or whatever, and I'm very positive about it, but I'm very practical. And then I'm like, I don't know, do I want to put some more money into this? And, until this comes up, but there's no answer, but I thought it should be addressed in the groups at some point, because I'm sure everybody's kind of walking around with that sort of question of how much am I spending and how much am I earning back.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, I was in a position where I'm still living in this county that actually now has probably more opportunity, but like I couldn't just go out and get a job. Like that would pay anything, like much above minimum wage kind of deal. So there was that. So for me, the need, the like, no matter whatness was huge. A lot of the people I work with are doing this because they're passionate about it. They feel purposeful, but kind of like I was before I left my marriage, I didn't need to make the money. And so it's about the energy and the conviction, right? So if this is like a purposeful hobby, that's fine, but recognize that your the level of commitment energy that you're bringing to it is in that level of like, it'd be great, it'd be nice, and I want to spend my time doing this, but I've got enough money saved, or this is my, retirement, and I don't need to make the money, or, kind of like I was I don't have to contribute to the household income. So I was still like just as convicted before I had to make the income, but how I invested in my business and the number of people I reached wasn't as much as like 6 months, a year after I really committed to making a living. So that's an important distinction to make too. I'm often listening to people and I'm thinking, gosh, it was such a gift for me to have to do this. Right. And I used to be like, man, spirit's got me right where it wants me, because if I was living in a bigger city, I'm like, I'd go work at an eyeglass store. Like, I love trying on eyeglasses and helping people try on eyeglasses, or I could sell wine, or I could sell, all kinds of things. And then I wouldn't have to stress about like, am I going to have enough money to do this, or all the things. But it was like, I was in a place that I absolutely had to make it work. That was my interpretation, and that really helped me. So even when I was investing in things and it was scary and I was outside of my comfort zone, I had a really strong grip on, this is what I'm choosing and this is what I'm going to make work. So you just, those are things to take into consideration. And then it's focusing on like, so if you have a list of investing in things, like maybe you don't want to invest in ads before you feel confident about the email service you have to respond to the people that you're advertising to, or you want ads, you want more people, but maybe you only have a couple products or offerings. So maybe it's go in, like everyone I work with could create a product where you do a one-on-one, 3-hour workshop or a series for a couple $100, and promote that. And that would, each client would pay for however many months of Zoom, right? And then once you've got that, then it's like, okay, I'm going to start doing ads, because now I feel really good about these one-on-ones. I want more people and da, da, da. So,
yeah,
it's kind of a dance like that. And, again, if it's just information to tap into, how uncomfortable am I willing to get? And, who do I look to? Who do I want to, who am I looking at that's triggering that often comparisonitis or envy? Like there are people whose websites I would not look at, because I would get feeling like I suck and I shouldn't even be doing this. I really protected my space, but that was information. It was like, I want to have that level of audience or reach, or, creative freedom. And so often too, when we get into those places, like a perfect example is, I remember visiting with Flora Boley in Portland, and, she's talking about having people over to her studio that she had built in the backyard. And I'm like, I want to have people come to me, where I don't have to travel and do things. And then I was like, wait a second, I have room for 5 people in my house. And I did like 3 different summers of offering creatively fit coaching training at my house. And that was just based on the desire to do it. And no, I didn't have a whole separate studio, but I had plenty of bedrooms and I had outdoor space in this gorgeous area where I live. And I put it out there and people came. So, there's another factor, and I'm seeing this like seesaw between what do I want and how willing am I to make it happen in like vibrationally in the way that is available to me right now. Right? Like I don't have an outdoor studio, but I have space, and I'm just going to be honest about that. Now I have a studio. Right? I don't think it's as big or as nice as Flora Boley's was, but people are coming this fall
to compare tonight,
so all of those things, want to come into play. And, it may be like, Sharon's talking to me about this, but whoever's watching, you may want to get with a friend or a colleague or another creatively fit coach or women's synergy collective member or something, and talk this through with each other. Here's what I really want. I want a Zoom account. I want to upgrade my email list. I want to be able to do ads. I want to be people coming to my studio in Galveston. I want these things. Where is this not happening? Look at the number of people that are on your email list. That's big information.
Yeah.
You want to grow. That's a top priority. Investing in things that are going to help you grow your list and sell product is the number one priority. I spent a lot of years, and I don't think it was wrong necessarily, but I did the VA thing. And so the good thing about a VA is the idea is that they're taking away some of the busy work so you can do the things that only you can do.
That's VA?
But a virtual assistant.
Oh.
So kind of helping with admin stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But the admin itself, like investing money in that, wasn't directly translating into more sales. It could, right? I mean, logically, it's like, well, if I have the admin, but it's still you, your energy, whatever. So then, like when I started working with Dawn, it was, I want to work with someone who's going to help me increase my sales. And the admin I'll figure out, right? So between like, Zoom and ads, if ads are going to, if you really believe they're going to help grow your list, then that might be a thing. But then look at what do you have to offer? If you have 2 online courses and no product, well, maybe it's, okay, I'm going to develop this product. I'm going to, offer, I'm going to be doing lives and stories and offering people and get my YouTube channel. Like if you want to grow your business and you don't have a YouTube channel, that's a free thing you can do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing videos and demos and increase your audience that way. So there is, I'm seeing kind of that like spinning wheel, like the two, like I want to grow my audience. Well, what are ways that I can do that for no cost? And let's focus some energy there intensely for a month or two, see the numbers growing, then go and subscribe to Zoom or buy my Teachable or whatever.
That's sort of the step I've been taking, because growing the email list has been growing from the in-person workshops. Anybody who takes an in-person workshop gets a monthly newsletter. And then when I send the newsletter, if somebody leaves town or if they're from out of town, they get the YouTube video. And then, so I have been giving myself that sort of thing. But can I ask you a question? I'm not at this point, but it's just kind of interesting. When you were at the point that you had to take that deep dive into hiring Dawn, obviously that's when you sat down and you knew that was a practical idea because you didn't want to have to be handling all that stuff, and that you prioritize that because you were ready for it. So, I don't know where the question is in this, but what was like the mindset at the time? Were you like, just let it roll? I know it's just sort of how you have a tendency to be able to do that for yourself. Just know it's going to pay off and whatever. Or did it take a couple of little bumps before you realized this was the timing and this was the correct investment to make?
Well, so the pre-story to that is I had decided a year and a half or so earlier that I wanted to find someone who would help me increase sales. And, I had my books and things like that on Amazon. So I actually ended up connecting with these 2 guys that had a, like, I don't know what it was called, PR marketing company or whatever, that found me as I was reaching out about Amazon placement and finessing that system. And there was kind of the left brain guy and the right brain guy, right? And the right brain guy totally got me, loved what I was doing, the purpose. And he made a budget work. So he offered for $1,000 a month to help me with like everything. So, and that felt comfortable for me with my budget, right? So I spent like a year and a half with them, and he was still sincere and all the things, but he would promise me this, this, and this on our monthly calls. And then he'd go to the left brain guy, and the left brain guy is like, dude, we can't do all this for $1,000 a month. Right? So they were constantly over promising and under delivering. And again, all of these decisions involved tears, lots of fear. I wasn't always in, oh, this is going to work out perfectly. That's just the voice that won out. Right. So like my first Laughing Buddha that's in the Buddha course right now, I painted that immediately after sitting. It wasn't this chair. It was the chair over there, crying, so upset just because it was again and again. And it takes a lot of effort to educate people about all the things like that I was doing. And, it's a lot invested in a relationship. It's like breaking up with someone. Yeah. And I was just so over it. And when I hired Dawn, I was scared shitless on a whole other level. I remember crying to her, like just breaking into tears, like, I need to make more money. I need to be able to buy a house. Like I've got to, and she's just like, she was so good. She's like, we'll get you there. Just don't worry. So that was a scary investment. But what I learned through that is investing and spending the amount of money that felt comfortable got me, whether it was people, it wasn't that they probably weren't capable of doing it, but I got plugged into a level of help that was meeting me where I was, which is not where I wanted to be. Right. So as soon as I invested up in my help, so I invested in someone who was completely confident that she could grow my business, that knew she was worth that amount of money. And so I leveled up when I invested with her. So I would say, if you're looking just in that example, say you're looking for someone to help you grow your business. If you go, in my experience, if you go with the budget that feels comfortable, you're going to get same. If you stretch and you're working with people that are beyond where you are and where you want to be, then you're going to rise up to meet that level. So that's a really important thing to understand as well. And, a lot of what I do in my advice is trying to accelerate your timeline, because I did a lot of things that didn't go as quickly as I'd like. So if I can skip you over the year and a half of paying $1,000 a month, kind of thing, whatever that is for you, then that is going to accelerate your ability to reach more people, which we need on this planet right now. We need more people tapping into Sharon energy.
And as someone who's taken your program, I also have to say, if anyone is listening to this, it's not just expecting you to deliver it all to us, but really to I just feel like I've dug in a little bit deeper on each thing. It's like, I'm just sort of like you plant the seeds, and then, the little seedling comes up, but you still have to go in with, the old garden metaphor, but there's still things from the outside, because it's like, you can't, sometimes when I listen to the talks or the shares, it's like, they want a formula that works. And that's why I wasn't hesitant to bring this up, but I knew there's no one size fits all answer. And what you've provided for us right now, I think is going to be very helpful. But anyone who hears it, just like me, you have to take it, and you can't follow your footprint. You've got to, work with it in your own cultivated way. So,
and another really important point, right? So this is, we talk about this, it's in like the Unstoppable Dream Journal, the laws of the universe, the law of duality and cause and effect and all that, or it's the law of vibration. Anyway, it's that like the ups and the downs are there to motivate you to create. So when you invest a lot of money in something, or an uncomfortable amount of money energy in something, and it doesn't pan out in your immediate ideal timeline, Are you going to go into the space of, see, it's not working, blah, 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 or, okay, what am I learning? What can I do differently? You know, how can I be more clear in my call to action? You know, a lot of us are afraid to say, click the link, sign up, join me in a one-on-one Zoom, or join me in this online program. You know, there's a 30-day money back guarantee. Like, click the link and try it. Take a risk, invest in yourself. We're afraid to, in general, right? It's not like, oh yeah, I'll just keep asking people to give me money. That makes us nervous. The thing is, if someone's listening to you, like at the end of the video still, they're interested. They want to know, how can I get more of this? Like, I want to learn this. How do I go deeper? Don't monkey around and make it and be really subtle, you know, comment below, blah, 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 you know, tell them, I would love to work with you more closely. I offer, you know, open studios every month for, you know, $55, you know, click here to learn more. Be clear on your call to action, because often, and I remember multiple times sitting there being like, oh, I need to make more money, make more money. It's like, okay, have I asked anyone for money recently? No. Nope. Okay. The next email going out, special offer, discount, bonus, whatever, because let's ask people for what it is we want. And then that goes back, if that feels uncomfortable, you've got to go back to the value you're providing. So when you feel uncomfortable about that, that's the ego and all the programming we have around, like, oh, you know, you're so important, or people are gonna, you think you're all that, or, you know, whatever that kind of talk is, where the right brain, that intuitive infinite self, is like, this is important work in the world. And the people that are leaning in and ready, we want to provide them with what they need. And heck yeah, we want you doing this on the planet. And if you need money to pay the bills and the mortgage or buy a house, like, why not? Like, there's no scarcity from that infinite perspective. So then it's the work. What are you doing to stay tapped into that more 5D, this thing that I just listened to, right? Are you in the love or the fear base? 5D is love based, 3D is fear based. Are you coming from love or fear? So then it's like, okay, I'm in fear around this. What can I do to get myself for love? You're not going to get the results you want through that fear-based vibration. You've got to get to the love. How can I love the people, my audience, you know, the people that are watching and want more? How can I love them? Well, I can give them my personal time, energy, and attention. And that costs money, because I live in this 3D world and I need to pay the bills. Right. So it's like, you've got to understand that you are the one responsible for aligning with what you want. And if the results you're getting aren't in alignment with what you want, you can change so many things rather than give away your power and say, oh, it's not working for me, it's not available to me.
That's not an option. Easy. That's not been an option for me. And that's why I knew you were the right person to ask for this. And this was the perfect opportunity. I wanted to jump on it. So thank you very much.
Welcome. You're welcome. And if any of you have questions or have your own advice to share, which I know you do, please comment below or wherever you're watching this, and we would all love to learn from you. Sharon, thank you so much for asking.
Thank you. All right. Have a good evening, everybody.